Torah Or, Pashas Toldot, page Yudches, second column, in middle of the page, even where the paragraph starts in the first column. The class is sponsored by Avram Maradi for his father's yortzeit, which is today Tzvanya ben Michal and Shom Shevan Aliyah. Amen. Okay, let's go. We're in the middle of the paragraph on Yudches, about 15 lines into the paragraph. Okay, so after now the Rebbe is explaining that it has to be in Gashmias and that's Yitzchok and Rivka. So then he says, that's what it says, Mayim Rabbi Yuchol L'chabetz So'ava, which he defines it to mean that meditation itself cannot quench the thirst of the neshama. It has to be action. So he says now, yes, Ra'al Kain. Afil ha'asaga shebegan Eden. I'm talking to the walls. No, I can't compete with food. What do you want me to do? He says, yes, Ra'al Kain, afil ha'asaga shebegan Eden. Even the understanding in Gan Eden, which is Muhuziv HaShechina Mamish, which understands the essence of the ray of the Shechina, not only Metzias, but the essence of the ray, though, not only the ray. Now then, Mayim Rabim, and Mshochem Me'anori Yitzim Eden. There comes the Mayim Rabim that comes from the Noah that comes out of Eden, the Yuchon L'chabetz So'ava. Now, because that can only be through Gashmias Mitzvahs. The Gilui of Gan Eden is only called Ziv Ha'ora Bilvad, only a ray of the Shechina. The Kabul Pras is called Pras. That's why it says on Manas the Kabul Pras, which is Gan Eden. But why is it called Pras? Lashim Prusa. Pras comes from the word a half or even a piece of it. Aval or Ava now, but the Ava that comes with mitzvahs, is connected to the essence of Hashem. Like he explained before, the essence of Hashem is not in Gan Eden, which is only a ray of the Shechina, but on the contrary, it's actually the essence of Hashem that you connect by doing the physical mitzvah. And that's the concept Shlayam and Asla Kabul Pras, not to get a piece of the action, so to be the ray of the Shechina, but they have the whole Shechina. And that's what the pasuk continues, that the rivers cannot drown it, meaning, what do you mean the rivers? The others came from the other side of the Nahor. As Kabbalah Chassidus explains, it's higher than Nahor. That the Ava that comes through Gashmias Mitzvahs, that's even greater than the Nahor. So therefore, because the level of mitzvahs, physical mitzvahs, comes from a level of higher than Nahor, so the Nahor for sure cannot drown it out, because it's a much higher level. Okay, that's so far the pasuk. Then the pasuk says, even if a person gives all the wealth of his house with love, it's going to be booze, meaning it's going to be cheap. Pirish im uloshin kasher. Im means not im if. Sometimes im means if, sometimes it means when. He said, usually im in Hebrew means if. Now if means a doubt. If you do this, then you might not do this. But here, im means when. Not if, when. Al-Balosh and Vad here means definite. K'may im kesef tava, like the pasuk says, im kesef tava simply means if you lend money to somebody, you shouldn't take interest. But the Mepharshim Rashi says over there, im over there means not if. It's a mitzvah when you do it. When you lend money, not if you lend money, because there's a mitzvah to lend money. When you lend money, so then you have to not take interest. Or they could say, V'im yi yovel. If it will be yovel, it doesn't mean if. It means when yovel comes. She'ein ze loshen sofek ala shebavadi adover v'yovi. Same thing, v'loshen im kan. The word im over here, when it says im yitain, kasher elolachim kasher, meaning kasher kesef tal v'esa'ani. Just like over there, when you lend money, you shouldn't take interest, you shouldn't bug them too much. Or yi'ayev. K'mei kenyam yitain ish, meaning kasher yitain ish. Who is ish over here? Hashem ish Muhammad. Hashem is called ish. Sheyitin bavada. Not, so there's like this. Im yitin ish is called hein beisei. Simply means that if a man will give all the treasures of his house. It says over here like this. Ma'im rabim liyuchal achabes asava nordish tefua. Okay, which means the ultimate gilui of alukus is gashmias. Mitzvahs and gashmias. Then the pasuk says, im yitin ish. When Hashem ish gives, kol hein beisi ba'ava, you get everything from Hashem. Not a ray, not a little bit of a ray. It says, ahainu l'otz she yitain, hu loshin osid. Yitain means when he will give, right? So yitain refers to law, so love when Mashiach comes. Shall also love yitain and kol hein beisi. Nowadays, like we learned many times, a Jew does a mitzvah, you connect to the essence of Hashem. When will this level be revealed? When Mashiach comes. Lost of love davke, especially betchis ameis. Even though this level, the essence of Hashem, is not revealed now, because we're in Golus. It comes to learning Torah, mitzvahs, maisias, and action mitzvahs. So this is what the pasuk says. When you have the Mayim Rabim Liyuchal Achabes Ava, and he's talking about which Ava? The Ava that comes through Gashmiistic mitzvahs. So then, im yitain ish, when Hashem gives all the treasures, so he says it's not begilu yet, because that will happen when Mashiach comes, but now it is there. He's giving it. That means when a Jew does a mitzvah, he connects to the essence of Hashem. V'zel mitzavcha, loshin tzavsa v'chibur, an expression of connection and binding. And so it says, Asher nechi mitzavcha hayim, the level of anechi, not ray of the Shechina. The essence of the Shechina is binding together with the Jew now. Except we don't feel it. Zehu baruch ata Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam, asher kidshanu b'mitzveisav. This is what we say in the bracha, right? Baruch ata Hashem Elokeinu melech ha'olam, asher kidshanu. Ata, what does it mean, Ata? Ata is not Hashem's name. There's Ata Hashem Elokeinu. Right? So Ata is the essence of Hashem. And then it comes into the level of Yud Kei Vav Kei. That comes into the Esses Sfiras. Because again, the Yud is Chachma, Hey is being above is the 6 Midas, and Hey is Malchus. So this level of Ata comes into the 10 Sfiras of Atzilus, ad shenim shechlias melech ha'olam. Then it comes down all the way into Malchus, and through this into Olam, into world, which is Malchus Market the Biyah, which is the source of Biyah. So therefore we're saying like this. This level Baruch comes down to the essence of Hashem, into the 10 spheres of Atzilus, into Melech Ha'olam, Melech Malchus, which is the source of Olam, B'ri Yitzir Nasiyah. And that level comes down when a Jew does a mitzvah. And then he continues. Asher Kedishanu simply means that he commanded us. But Asher is Tainuk. Like it says, Asher was Bashuni Banes. It's the level of Tainuk. And that's the Tainig V'Tzcheka Elyon, she is Galil, also love it, Bepel Mamash. So this is what the Pasuk is saying, the Bracha is saying, so to speak. We're bringing down the level of Ato, the essence of Hashem, into Olam, into world, which is the ultimate Tainug, Asher, which is the Tainug of Hashem that will be revealed, Lo Asad Lavai, but now it's happening. That's Unim Shech Achshav Mamash, which is being done today. So now is the time to do mitzvah. And tomorrow we get the schar. And that's the top of 36. This bracha that we need to say is al derech mashal mreitza adam lahoy merachak b'makom ha'cheshach. It says like this: if you want to lighten up a place that's very dark, okay, and you want to, let's say, even see in a darker place or in a place further away, you need a bigger light, but you need a more powerful light. So you need a big torch. And to add on to Or, that the Or should come even to the most distant places. So therefore, in other words, it says like this: why are we saying in the bracha that we're mamshech this level of Atah, the essence, in a way of asher, of enjoyment, that whole thing? He says, because you have to bring it down into Gashmias. So therefore, in Gan Eden, which is not so far away, so to speak, spiritually, a ray of light is enough. You want to bring down a level of course, into Gashmias, into Klipa, into Chayshach. So then you need to bring down a greater level of Elokus. And that's why when you do a mitzvah with something physical, you're bringing down this deeper level of Elokus into Gashmis. Why do you need to have 100 brachos? Why not 50, 60? I mean, what's the cheshbon 100? He says, like it says in Zeresh Pashas Chayisara, Hamshach me'asad ilo astima dechol stima, because Meah is the ultimate level of completeness, right? 10 Sfiras, each one's composed of 10. It's ultimate completeness. So then you have to bring down from a very super great place. That's the level of Meah. Ultimate shleimus. And therefore down here we need to bring down the Meah brachas, to bring down that level of Atah 100 times, so to speak, in every aspect of the world, to bring down that level of Kedusha.
Yeah, but when you say the bracha, are you supposed to have this kavanah that this is what you're doing?
You're supposed to. That's what it's about. If that's what the bracha is saying, that's what you're supposed to think. Concerning this, Chazal say, this is what he called it before the Mishnah. The one movement of tshuva ma'asim tevim in this world is better than the whole Elam Haba. Ki Gan Eden is only rak ziv hashchina, right? It's only a ray of the Shechina. Therefore, lo yuchal lechabes esu'ava. It can't quench the thirst. It's only a ray. A ray can't quench your thirst. Aval hamshachazu b'chinas muhusi v'atzmusi yizbarach v'olezi b'lvad, and that's called hein beisei. Hein beisei, usually the treasures, like Chassidus explains in the Basi, the Gani, and all that, the treasures of the king are always hidden. Nobody even is allowed to even look at them. Which is, spiritually speaking, that's the level of stima d'chol stimin, levels of all hiddens. And yet, this hein beisei, when you make a bracha and you're bringing down this level of ata that's really not revealed, and you bring it down in a level into the Gashmiistic world, that's what happens when you do the mitzvah. Or like it says in Batsi Lagani, in the time of battle, Nitzachon reaches the whole essence of the king, that they throw him, they'll throw him out cheaply. That's what he's saying, that when it comes to elevate the Gashmiistic world, which is the battle of Dira v'Tachteinim, that brings down that these hidden levels, Hein Beisei, are thrown out in a way that we bring down into the Gashmiistic mitzvah the level of Ata. What?
Well, this is so important because we are elevating, and that's the whole purpose of our
right.
creation. So why is Alter Rebbe says, I don't want this, I don't want this, I only want you? It is impossible to only want you.
No, he didn't say don't want Torah mitzvahs. He said, I don't want your Gan Eden. Right. I don't want your Olam Haba. He said, I don't want rays. I want the essence.
But that's the two rays. Through all these rays, we are able to reach.
No. The rays are in Gan Eden. That's post-death. That's in Gan Eden. Now, we're connecting to the essence. So we don't get the essence through the rays. No, the rays are after we finish Avodah until Mashiach comes. They give you like, there's an expression, they throw the dog a bone, meanwhile, just to keep quiet for a while. And then ultimately the essence comes down to Tchias HaMeisa.
All of this is for the Neshama. Everything that we're doing is for our Neshama.
No. The purpose of the Neshama coming down into the world is to elevate the Gashmiistic world. Through that, the Neshama, because it's accomplishing the mission of what Hashem wants, the Neshama becomes elevated.
So when Neshama goes back, he won't go the same level that he came.
No.
He goes higher.
Much higher.
Well, the happiness of the Neshama the elevation of the Neshama is by doing Torah mitzvah.
Correct.
It has nothing, the happiness of the Neshama has nothing to do with money or house or cars or...
Neshama? No. Are you kidding? That stuff gets in the way. Unless if you use it the right way. Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, the Gemara says, on his deathbed, he's very wealthy. Yeah? He swore, on his deathbed, Rabbi Yehuda Nasi swore, picked up his hands and said, I didn't enjoy this world, not even a small finger's worth. I feel etzpaktana. He's not going to lie in his deathbed. He had all that wealth, all those servants. He had, the Gemara says, the stable boy of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was richer than the Malka Paras, than Shver Malka. The stable boy of Rabbi was richer than the Persian king. Okay? So what do you mean he didn't have? Everything he had was for the sake of Kedusha.
And this happiness has nothing to do with this thing.
Correct. Happiness of the Neshama.
Right. Absolutely nothing.
The happiness of the Neshama is when you take this Gashmiistic stuff and you utilize it for Torah mitzvahs, that's the Neshama's satisfaction. But not from the cars, money, houses, clothes, whatever it is. When it's elevated, that's the enjoyment of the Neshama. So he says, okay, Shlomo Melech says, with wisdom you build a house. Yeah? What does it mean? What bias are we talking about? The letters of Torah are called houses. Like it says in Sefer Yetzirah, two letters build 2 houses, 3 letters build 6 houses, and so on. Right? Like really many times. You have Aleph Beis, you can make 2 combinations. Aleph Beis, Beis Aleph. If you have 3 stones, you can make 6 combinations. Okay, so the bottom line is, Torah is called letters, and just like letters is like a stone, yeah? Many stones build a house, many houses build a block, many blocks build a neighborhood, many whatever. So a few letters build a word, a few words build a sentence, a few sentences build a chapter, a paragraph, whatever it is, and then the same thing. So Sefer Yetzirah likens the letters of Torah to building houses. So therefore he says, Bayis refers to Torah. L'chein nikra Talmidei Chacham banoim. Therefore, Talmidei Chacham, the Gemara says, are called builders. Right? She'ez kim b'minyanei shel Eilam. Like v'chol banayach l'modei Hashem, the Gemara says, be the banayach builders. I'll take a banayach elop, we say every day, right? Banayach means builders. So the Gemara says, because Talmidei Chacham are called building the world. So he says, what is Chachma? What b'chachma bansa bayis? What does it mean? Chakim li b'chachma yediyah. Not in a level of known chachma, but we learned in Pasuk Liyot, right? It says, the Rebbe writes in the Maimon Pasuk Liyot that it's the source of wisdom. Shemalim b'chinas nar yaitze. Tavuna yiskein. And with tavuna, it just becomes established. The Pasuk says like this. With Chachma bansa bayis, and then it says ubetvuna yiskeinin. Yiskeinin means it stays established. Now you build it with Chachma, and then it stays standing with Bina. Like it says, Usfunasi ein cheket. And then the pasuk continues, Bedas chadarim yamalu. And with das, the rooms get filled. Okay, so it says like this. These are all psukim. One pasuk, I think. Chachma builds the house, Bina makes it stand, and Das fills the room. Fills all the rooms. That's the level of Tainug. Which is concealed in Torah, like it says, Torah is my toy, my enjoyment, which is the level of Einig. And that's the level of Hein Beisei. Which comes through Das, because Das is Loshen Chibur. Das, like it's Adam Yochav, he connected to Chava. Shemachabo Mamsha Bechinas Tainig Elyon, Mimakar HaTainugim, into Chachma and Bina, the Reitz me Chachma Nafkas. So what has the level of Torah? The person brings down, he says, that level of Tainug through the level of Das, meaning learning Torah. So learning Torah and doing mitzvahs in the physical world is what does it. In other words, there's a difference even learning Torah in Gan Eden. Yeah, they also learn Torah in Gan Eden, but they learn it completely differently than our learning. When a person learns in our world about animals, okay, you learn the Gemara about animals, you're elevating the animals. Not as direct as when you take the animal and you do a mitzvah with it, because then it's directly. But for instance, a classic example that some Chassidus brings down, everybody brings it down, there's a famous Mishnah, Shnei Merchs and Betalis. Yeah, two people come to Bezdin, they're holding on to a talus. This guy says, I found it, this guy says, I found it, this guy says, I bought it, this guy says, I bought it. You know, this guy swears, this guy swears, okay. So how do they learn the halach in Gan Eden? There's no talus in Gan Eden. Okay? Or there's another Mishnah, Machlet, these are the two examples they give. Hamachlet part of a chamar. A guy exchanges a donkey for a cow, okay, and they're not in front of us, and then the cow gives birth. The question was it before the exchange or after the exchange? If it's after the exchange, it goes to the new owner. If it was before the exchange, it goes to the old owner. Yeah? So how do they learn those Mishnahs in Gan Eden? There's no paran, there's no chamor, okay? So Chassidus explains, we learned already, Torah is food and neshamas are garments, levushim. So up there in Gan Eden, they learn it like this. Shnayim echsim talis, two neshamas are in Gan Eden fighting over a talis, a mitzvah. This guy said, I did it. This guy said, no, I did it. You know, everybody wants to... Or a machlet part of a chamar. Chassidus explains, what does it mean? How do they learn that in Gan Eden? There's a nefesh habamis. You can have a para, you can have a chamar. So there you change this nefesh habam, that nefesh habam, you know, that whole thing. So obviously they're not learning about physical objects in Gan Eden. Okay, they don't know what a chamara and a physical chamara or a para is, or a talis. So over there they're not elevating the Gashmistic world like when we learn about it here. When we learn Torah down here about a para and a chamara and a talis, yeah, we're elevating that physical object. In Gan Eden they don't do that.
How do we know that? Who told us what's happening in Gan Eden?
The ones that were there, and the ones that know now what's going on in Gan Eden.
Has Torah talked about Gan Eden, what's happening?
Sure. Tzadikim Yeshvin, Batrasem Berashem, Venenim Iziv Ashchina. One second.
The guy